Tables have a couple of pull-down menus of particular importance. In the upper right, we have a pull-down menu called Tools, and the actions such as find duplicates, create email lists, and such apply to all of the rows of the table that are visible at the moment. So if you filter the table down to, for example, only customers in a particular town or only customers of a particular category as such, the action that you select will only apply to those particular customers. Within the options column, we have a pull down. These actions apply only to the customer in that particular row. So if we click edit, we'll edit only that customer, show details and so forth. It's specific to the particular row that you're in. So what are some of the things we can do here? We're on the customer table. In the tools menu, we can add a new customer. And we could have done that also by clicking the plus. We can undelete. So let's say we go down to this customer in the last row and delete that customer. The customer is gone. If I choose undelete, it's restored. Now it's restored at the end of the table. We don't see it right here. I believe that was customer 13 that we deleted. If we go to the very end of the table, we see there's that customer. We can find duplicates. So what this does is it goes to all of the customers in our database here, and it identifies any that have duplicate names, duplicate phone numbers, emails, and several other pieces of information that should be specific to only one customer. And here we see that customers 1 and 8 have duplicate phone numbers. 1 and 8 are visible on the table right now at the same time. So we have the phone number right here, and the phone number down here are the same. And that's probably an error, which you'd want to fix. We can create an email list. We showed you that in minutes ago in a previous topic. We can also create a label list. So we can export the contents of the table to a CSV file, a spreadsheet file, with the information necessary to upload to a service like Avery. Avery, you may be aware, allows you to create like labels for envelopes, postcards, and so forth. So you can pretty much automate the process of sending postcard mailings, for example, to customers in this way. We can import and export from CSV. So if we choose import, if we have a spreadsheet file in a CSV format, we can import that information to populate the table. And we can take the existing table contents and export them to a CSV file. By the way, this is a way that you could do your own backups. If you export a table to CSV and then import it back at some time, it will restore all that information that you had saved. We can also show locations. You can see, let's make this table smaller. I'll filter it down to only those customers that have the word Jeff someplace. So we have Jeff Stokes, we have Jeff Kelly, and they're in 2 different towns. If I click locations, map will pop up showing both of these customers on the map. Okay, I'll clear this search up above. All right, so other tables have different sets of capabilities. If we go to the tools menu for the jobs table, we see it doesn't have all of the same choices as the customer table did. And back to customers. Okay, so getting into the options available for particular rows of the table, we can edit the customer. We can view details. So that pops up the details at the right. Remember, this is the same as just clicking over here in the ID column, but not on number. We can show the timeline for this customer. So this shows all the activity in a time sequence for this customer. We're looking at for the month of February. If we go back to January, we see there's a lot more activity. So all of the interactions and jobs and so forth that we've had with the customer, we've got a job here, an invoice was sent, another job, we had a phone call, a few phone calls with the customer, another job, and another invoice. So it keeps a history of all the information. It's the same information as you can locate in the table, but this can be a very useful way of seeing how you've interacted with the customer over time. Maybe a clearer way of doing it. And we can look at weekly interaction, monthly, quarterly, and even yearly. And we can go backward and forward up here. You click the center button, it goes to the current month. All right, we can also delete the customer. Of course, it asks if you want to be sure, and I don't actually want to delete it. We can send an email. We could have done that, as I illustrated, just by clicking on the email link in the email column. We can send a text. Again, we could have done that by clicking on the text column. We can add an action item. So this opens up an action item form that allows you to assign an action item to one of your workers. Choose a category for the action item. Buy supplies, for example, and enter some details. And we can do the same thing for adding notes and call logs. If you had just had a phone call with a customer, you can click call log, and a call log dialog pops up and allows you to record the details of that phone call. So again, we have two sets of tools. We have tools that apply to the entire table, located in the menu, the pull-down menu in the upper right. And within each row of the table, we have an options pull-down menu that gives you a selection of tools and actions that you can apply to the particular row or customer in the table.